And we are back here in the pit, Penn's Peak Radio. It's Kara in the studio with you this evening, and you just heard Forever Yours by Grayscale off their newest album, Adornment, here on In the Pit. A Philly band, and it's always a sweet moment when I get to talk about local bands who are beyond proving themselves, and this man is doing it, guys. And tonight, I've got Collin of Grayscale on the phone with me. What is good, Collin?
What's going on, Kara? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks so much for chatting with me, because myself and my listeners, I mean, we were talking before this, and I literally got a call in for one of your songs as I'm talking to you.
No way. That's so sick.
It's so awesome. You guys, you're killing it, and it's pretty awesome to be focusing on your album tonight, especially after, 2 months of it being out now?
Yeah, just about that. May 5th, so it's been about 2 months.
Well, so Adornment, it's out. From mixing to release to now, 2 months later, are your expectations still the same with the album as they were, or have they changed?
I think we all were definitely taken back by the response that we received, and we're super thankful for that. Everybody was really, really supportive, and we've had so many people and we've gained so many new fans, and the old ones, really enjoyed listening to the record, and we've gotten so many positive reviews and so much good feedback from not only fans and friends, but other bands that have reached out. It's been kind of mind blowing, to be honest with you. I didn't, it's something we worked really hard on, but I didn't expect to get as good of results as we did. I don't know. It's pretty mind blowing, but we're very excited.
Well, from start to finish, the album is solid. It's a fantastic album just to listen to. Put it in your car, on repeat. So when exactly did the writing process for this album start? We worked on this record for a really long time. It's definitely, Dallas, Nick and I, we live in the same apartment together, and Andrew lives probably 30 minutes away. So it's kind of weird, when we asked that question, because I don't even know when it, I don't even remember when we started. I just know that, whenever we're home and hanging and want to write, we'll just chip away, and we kind of just write what feels good and when it feels good, and it's okay. Not like we, even really, we didn't know we were writing it until it was done. Then but I guess if I had to estimate a time, it would probably be, I don't know. I mean, if we recorded it in October, November, 2016, so we probably started writing it probably last summer, 2016, over the summer. Okay.
But yeah, like I said, there's probably some things from our record before that we had some elements of Adornment laying around that we picked back up, and some stuff was while we were in the studio. It kind of, it's all over the place, really.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, are you the type of band that when you're on tour, you just focus on playing shows every night, or do you get inspiration and start maybe doodling stuff down while you're out on the road?
I feel like we're all always conscious of that. I'll write lyrics kind of all the time, and I surround guitar parts all the time. So whether we're on tour or home, I think it doesn't really affect that. We're just, whenever, we're always have guitars and lyric books and stuff in our hands. So, whenever it feels good, we do it. But we've only toured, and we that OK USA tour that we did with As It Is in the spring of this year was our first full US. So a lot of that, we learned a lot as we went, and we learned how to get better at touring and how to travel together and get used to that. So I feel as we go, there'll be a lot more of writing on the road.
Okay.
For our first one, we were just kind of more concerned about the shows specifically.
Yeah. That's cool. And you guys put on a fantastic show as well. All across the board, you guys are really solid.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Did you come to one of the shows? Did you see it?
I did.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was insane. The crowds and the shows were awesome. So congratulations, and I'm excited for where you guys still go in the future and seeing it again.
Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, we know now October, November, you guys kind of started, I guess, studio process of the album.
Right.
Yep. So what did you learn from writing and doing the process from your first album that you either brought into this process or wanted to change?
Good. That's a good question. I feel it's, I don't know, I guess it's kind of different with us because we've been friends for so long. We've been boys since we were, in middle school. So it really wasn't any different than the previous one because we just were hanging out writing either at, our practice spot or in our apartment. That part of it wasn't really different. But I guess what I will say is the actual process of when we were tracking like the actual recording, not the writing, but like when we actually went to Los Angeles and recorded, it was so much different than previously when we stayed local. I mean, kind of like we recorded our previous record, What We're Missing, with Gary Chofie from in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So when we were in Boston, you know, that's like a 9-10 hour drive. Like, it's obviously still far. But, you know, it's still like East Coast. It's Boston and Philly, like they have their own personalities, but they're both clearly East Coast cities, whereas like when we went to Los Angeles, it was like a different world.
Yeah.
So that part of it was very different, like flying, getting an Airbnb, you know, hanging out, eating burritos, going to the beach. That part of it was way different.
Did you guys live all together during the process?
Yeah. We had like an apartment, in Van Nuys.
Nice. So yeah, you guys are Philly. Do you feel a sense of, well, pride, obviously, coming from Philadelphia? I feel like that it's such a scene that people sometimes forget about. But do you feel a certain art that comes to Philly with music in general? And I don't even know. I mean, genre is so anything right now. But like when you were starting, did you try to open for certain shows that you know would be helpful? Or how did the whole Philly vibe help you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of bands we looked up to, when we, you know, especially when we were younger. I mean, there's some of them are still active, some of them aren't. But like between like South Jersey, like right over the bridge, and Pennsylvania, I mean, you can isolate Philly, but if you go beyond that, there's so many, like Tiger's Jaw, Tidal Fight, Balance, Wonder Years, Minnow. There's so many of those bands that are from like literally right around us. Like, I think I ran into the Tiger's Jaw, like at least the singer. Like we never like spoke, but I've ran into him just like getting a burger like in our neighborhood, like that. And like Modern Baseball, those dudes went to the same college that I went to. So it's just like there's just people like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like it's a city just known for its personality and art and history. So it's like when you have a city that's literally built on what Philadelphia is built on, it's like it's kind of, there's just a great energy to it, and we're so thankful that like I would never want to live anywhere else. Like it's just like I love it here, and we all love it here, and it's just like such a great place and so much good energy, you know, so much creative energy, so much art. So it's yeah, I mean that part of it's awesome, and I think the scene specifically, like the house shows and like the college shows that we played, and opening for bands when they came through at all the venues, and all like the promoters that are willing to, you know, kind of put you out and let you learn as you go. It's just a lot of good people here, you know, and that's something we're very stoked for.
Definitely. Awesome. Guys, if you're just tuning in, I am talking with Collin of Grayscale. Now, we started off the show with Forever Yours, an absolutely gorgeous song. That is, I feeling, going to be one of those sing-along songs at your shows, which is awesome, just hearing everyone scream it back to you. What's the story behind this song?
So this song, Forever Yours, is obviously like it's the ballad of the record. It's kind of this song, when you listen to it during when you pop it in, like the A side is kind of more the poppy stuff, and the B side is the darker stuff. And we've always, I mean, like our previous record, What We're Missing, was kind of like that. Like the darker stuff is usually on the B side, and I feel like a lot of records are done that way. But we made ours pretty deliberate. So as it, you know, the A side and B side are clearly pretty different, and I think Forever Yours is kind of at a place on the record where it kind of separates. It's kind of like the in-between.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the poppy, like the rowdy songs that are like upbeat and, you know, have that kind of spirit to them. And then Forever Yours comes and it's like the ballad. And then after that, it kind of fades into like the Beautiful Things, Mom, into that kind of stuff, which is a little darker. So I think, the song has a special place on the record because it kind of is like the turn of it. And the song is kind of written about, a lot of times I'll take lyrics and I'll write out like, you know, either stories or poems or things, and a lot of them are things happening to me, and I'll romanticize characters, or like I'll personify things where it gives something a sense or gives something a purpose, or I'll put a person character in place of myself and I'll write it like as if I'm someone else writing kind of vicariously. Like, so it's kind of like a story about somebody I was close to that I kind of just made into like this kind of dramatic, I don't know, story, I guess.
Yeah. But
it's all, I mean, a lot of it is very, very real. Like, it's real stuff, but I've always felt most comfortable, like, if I write things, like I said, like in a story method. So it was taking my feelings and the things I've been through and the things I went through with this person, all this stuff, and putting it into, like, a storybook type of
like wedding and then like a tragedy at the end where she's like, she doesn't make it to the wedding and there's this sense of like, I'll always be yours even though I can't be. I messed it up when I had you and now you're not here anymore. So it's kind of,
Well, it's beautiful.
Kind of about. Thank you. Thank you.
And you were saying story. So does that mean this album kind of has a certain vibe that you were going for when you were writing it?
No, it's like when we wrote, like there was never a time where, when I write lyrics, I never think like, oh, like I'm gonna write this kind, like I'm gonna try to make this all work on this record to fit this like, this idea. Like that's not really how it went about. It was just kind of like I'm just writing, what I'm feeling and things that I want to write about, and whether they're about a relationship with like someone you love, someone you hate, like whatever that is, or things about yourself. Like you kind of just wrote all the stories and stuff on their own, and wrote about my feelings and everything on their own. And then at the end, they just kind of meshed together.
Yeah.
And as I was writing it, I think that's the part of like I like to write stuff, and then as I'm doing it, like hit stopping points where I go back and look at it and kind of analyze it. When I was doing that, I kind of realized, wow, there's all these like elements of like naturally occurring things like lightning bugs, and there's rain, and there's references to like fruit in the song Echoes, and there's like almost every song has some kind of reference to like a naturally occurring element. And once I kind of realized that as I was writing, I kind of put it into this it's a lot of this stuff is it's all real things, a lot of them put into stories or poems, and that's kind of where the artwork comes from. It's like this dream world comprised of all of these things. Like if you look at the record and if you get like the vinyl and you open it up, or the CD panel and you open it up, it has pictures through the artwork of this adornment island that's like this fictional place where all of these like dreams exist, and the whole dream world part of it kind of also comes from the insomnia theme of the record. I have a really hard time sleeping, so I would have these crazy vivid dreams of stuff, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes from as well.
That's awesome. I love hearing about that, and hearing about the story, like the artists that are going through for albums that they make and how they even do the artwork with it. It's really cool. And I know a lot of people love hearing that too. So
yeah, I mean, I always have a hard time explaining it. It comes from so many places, and there's so much like meaning and a lot of like the elements and artwork and like the stories and how they're real life events. Like it's hard to like kind of get it all into words when I talk about it.
Yeah.
I always feel like whenever I'm asked about it, but
they just have to listen to it. Listening to it, I think, will do it justice.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, when you were thinking or when you were working on this album, was there a specific song that sticks out to you during the recording process since you were out in LA for the first time? Is there something that's just in your brain, like a certain song?
Like a certain song that stuck out when we were writing it, or? Yeah,
when you were out there recording, like that you were in the studio, like that's it. Like there was a spark moment.
Not when we were in the studio.
Okay.
But before we went to the studio, there was this riff, this guitar, like noodling part that Dallas kept playing acoustically. And I'd be like, dude, we should use that. Like, let's track that. Let's use that. Like, let's put that in a demo. We should use that when we, like, track our next record. And he's like, no, I don't want to use it. Like, it's repetitive. Like, I don't want to use it. I don't really like it. And it kept coming back.
Yeah.
He kept, like, kind of messing around with it. And he kept doing this lick. And we pushed him so hard, just like, dude, just track it and we'll build on it. And that became what is now Slept, that opening, like, acoustic guitar, like, jingly riff. So that was something where, like, it was kind of like that moment of everyone like, oh, yo, that's something we need to do, when we first heard it.
Yeah.
But the person who wrote it, like, when Dallas wrote it, he didn't think so. That was really the only moment for that I can really think of. But when we went to the studio, we kind of had everything ready to go, just through demoing. So we kind of knew exactly what we were getting into and what we were doing.
Oh my God, that guitar part's awesome. So good job putting that in.
Thank you. Yeah, the only credit I really have is someone put that guitar part in.
Yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, the album came out while you were on tour. Did you see a difference as the tour went on with people and the new album and coming up to you and listeners?
Yeah, I did, and it was crazy, honestly. Like, it was like, I think the record came out like towards the front, kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. But by the end of it, like when we like were making our way back to like me even coming from like Georgia up north back to Philly-ish, like all of the cities in between. Like I remember like Pittsburgh was the second to last date, and that
show, I just remember that was when I was just like, oh my God, like everyone knows the words. Like it was bizarre. And it was weird because like I felt like a lot of the time, even like before the record was out, kids knew songs, like they knew the words to songs that hadn't been released, which I still don't know how that happened because I don't even think somebody must have
the power of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that would have made, like, if it was past May 5th and people knew it all, like, that would make, like, you know, if people learned it really quick, I'd be like, oh, well, somebody probably leaked it, everybody has it, but, I mean, somebody must have leaked it, like, before that, because there were kids that knew the words before the record even came out, and so that was because that song Come Undone that we play with Patty from As It Is, everybody knew all the words to that already. It was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, as we went on, it was definitely overwhelming, honestly, and that's something, like, that's a feeling I'm never going to get used to. It was just crazy turning around and seeing everybody just knowing all the words to our songs. It was awesome.
Well, dude, you deserve it. You guys are kicking ass. So
thank you.
We were talking about this a little bit before, but the APMAs are actually coming up this Monday, and you guys are gonna be there.
Yep, we will be there.
Anything from the event you guys are excited to see? Like, I know I'm excited just to watch like John Feldman's award, but what are you guys excited for that night?
I mean, I feel like that varies per person. I know Andrew McMahon is like Dallas and I, like Something Corporate and Jack's Mannequin, like, and now obviously solo stuff. Like, we both love that dude. And Dallas specifically, I'm pretty sure Andrew McMahon is like, and like his past like groups are like in his top 5 of all time.
Wow.
So I know that's a big deal for him. So we're gonna have to pretend like it's not a big deal for him and I, especially him. And then. No, I mean, it's so sick. There's just so many great artists, whether they're like veteran artists or they're new. It's just like a cool thing. We're just stoked to be there. And like I said, there's going to be a surprise there. So if you're watching, Grayscale's up to something. I can't tell you what it is, but keep your eye out.
You're actually going to be running on stage with him. That's what you're going to be doing.
Maybe. Maybe we will.
Oh.
We're supposed to or not. We just make a run for it.
Exactly.
And jump on his back when he's playing piano.
Sounds good. We'll all know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. You guys will know. This is your warning.
Oh God. Yeah. There's so many good albums out this year already, including yourselves. What are you currently listening to?
I've been listening to past week a lot of the band Head North. They put out a record. It's awesome, and I've been jamming that a lot. What else? Let me think. That's been like the main thing lately that I can think of.
Yeah.
I've had that on repeat like quite a bit. And then like I have like normal artists that like I jam to, like Austin, I don't know, like Third Eye Blind and like John Bellion. Like those are 2 artists that I've been like recently. I always listen to Third Eye Blind. They're like my favorite band. But there's a lot of John Bellion stuff as well I've been jamming. But yeah, I'd say those 3 have been my main in rotation the most right now.
Cool. Cool. Sounds good. From starting out as a kid in high school in 2011 to now having 2 albums out in 2017, what is your next goal? What is next for you guys?
So we have that 4 Year Strong tour. We're supporting 4 Year Strong, Seaway, life lessons and like Pacific on that tour in the fall. And then after that, I can't tell you.
Oh.
There'll be more to come. Yeah, there'll be more to come. I think we're just going to do a lot of touring this year. And I don't really know where on it. Like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Some of it I do know and can't tell you. Some of it I don't. It's still up in the air. But, yeah, we're probably going to do a lot of touring. And that's something where, like, we're very young in our career. Like, although we started, like, 2011, that was really just us messing around in our basement. We really weren't, like, an active band until, like, a year, or, like, probably 2.5 years ago. So, we have a lot of touring we're going to be planning to do. So we're really excited to do that.
Awesome. So many surprises from you guys. They have to check out your website.
I know.
Well, what is your website? What is your social media so people can get your music and follow you guys?
Cool. Yeah. So all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are Grayscale, Grayscale. The letter P, the letter A. That's the handle. So Grayscale PA. And our website is just www.grayscalepa.com. So everything's Grayscale PA.
Nice, simple, and easy.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, Collin, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. We're so stoked for everything that you guys have in the future, and we're excited to see you run up on stage for the APMAs.
Right. Cool. Yeah, Kara, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So we're actually going to finish things out with another one of your songs called Let It Rain. So Collin, if you could introduce this one for us, we'll send it on out.
Awesome. It's been real. Thank you guys for listening. This song is Let It Rain by Grayscale. Enjoy.